Hello, ladies and gents. This is Mike Headley on the Headley Group Real Estate Show. This is a podcast designed for real estate professionals who's thinking about getting a career in real estate or who's already been in the business. We'll learn some great tips and tricks from the professionals and the veterans. Continue to tune in. Hey, ladies and gents, this is Mike Headley. We are back on the Headley Group Real Estate Show. I think we got a great one I know that we have a great one. This brother right here, I actually was in one of his rooms in Clubhouse, and I was just fascinated with all the great jewels and insight he was just spilling. And I had to ask him, I said, brother, we got to get you on the show. I think our community will love to get that great insight on what you provide. Now, on Clubhouse, his name is ZillowKiller, right? ZillowKiller. I want to make sure I'm getting it right, but we're going to elaborate what that means. But if I can say your name correctly, brother, it's Mr. James Rembert. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's Rembert.
Rembert, I'm sorry. Okay, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. Okay. So like I said, I know this brother right here is short for time, so we're going to dive right on in. Now, tell us about ZillowKiller. How did that name come about, and how does that kind of relate to just the community?
It's just that right now it's more of an ideology we play with, right? It falls in line with some of our philosophies. I didn't name myself that. I had to speak my very first big speaking gig at Inman Connects.
Okay.
I didn't have a name, so I needed to figure out how would people remember my company. Mm-hmm. So I had my company's name, and then I had ZillowKiller under it, just as a play on it. Nothing deep, just to create attention. I mean, that's the thing you want to remember when it comes to any type of advertising or marketing. Awareness is the first component. Then you build into attention, right? And just playing off what I know, I did the presentation. I did pretty well, right? Not to boast, but I did pretty well. But I never said my name. Like, I was so nervous, I just left. I just walked the hell off stage and just went.
Wow.
And when I left, I went to the green room, grabbed my stuff, and I had people waiting for me inside the conference.
Okay.
So I grabbed my stuff, and I didn't know the protocol. I didn't know you're supposed to stay in the green room, meet and greet, and then the crowd comes out. And when the crowd comes out, then you go to the different booths. Like, that's how it's supposed to go. I was so ignorant to the whole process. I just grabbed my stuff and just walked the hell out. And I'm out in the vestibule waiting for the people that came with me to come out while I was preparing and just getting myself together. The room let out, and I just was swarmed with like 200 people, and everybody kept calling me, "Hey, ZillowKiller, hey, ZillowKiller." I text my assistant, was like, everything that says ZillowKiller, lock it down.
I love that. I love that. So I'm gonna segue into that. You deal with marketing, and you help real estate professionals kind of stick out. And the second part to that, the second thing to the question is, should every real estate professional be on a social media platform, and which one would you say stick out?
Of course. Yeah, I own a few companies. Okay. And it all started from the real estate industry. So of course I did well enough that I was able to build a team around me. My team progressed to a point where we partnered up with another pretty decent team. We bought into a brokerage. But throughout that transition, I was building my agency. So I sold for 4 years. 3 years I did well. The third year, I kind of progressed into things that I really wanted to do. And it was advertising, and we launched Digital Natives. And right now, today, 2021, Digital Natives we service probably close to 300 plus real estate teams and brokerages worldwide.
Wow.
But on the profit level, we're projected to do 8 figures this year, which led me into, it did so well. In 2019, I wanted to figure out how do we grow it? Like, how do we expand it? Like, I'm doing everything I can. And the only thing my business coach helped me understand is it's worth getting into some type of acquisition, buying into a company that we can extend or bring services in, right?
Okay.
And we bought into another company around 2019 called ROAS Consulting out of Manhattan. And the services that they provided, which the clientele was different. Like, I dealt with all real estate teams and brokerages and the business structure, right? But they dealt with companies like Macy's, Adidas, Lego Toys, Warby Parker, more commercial brand stuff. But the products that they offered made sense. So they offered things that I didn't, which was voice-based campaigns. They did some augmented reality and messenger bots. It was a good investment, but it was a poor decision of what services could transition over. Out of all three of those services, only one was able to transition over into digital natives. So I'm not opposed to having two companies. Now I have a company that I know very well, and I have a company that I know very little bit about in the sense of the product. So now technically, we have two separate agencies going two different directions, and that never was the goal, which kind of led me into building out or buying into businesses and things that would be okay adding to generational wealth. And to answer your second question, all the platforms work, right? You just need to pick. Okay. All of them work. There is no better, right? As long as we understand that the internet is a presence, not a destination, and we're willing to put ourselves in the process of doing, right? If we declare we want an action and move at the speed of implementation, right? All of them work. The problem is when we're trying to sort through and look through the window and say, well, let me see what everybody else is doing. That's cool, right? But we still have to move at the speed of implementation. We have to do, and that's the only way the platform is going to work for you. So all of them work.
All of them works. Okay. So, and just to add on to that question, okay, person has ID, Instagram, and content is there. And I think I don't mind putting myself out there. Content is there, but the following count, it seems like doesn't increase, right? And the consistency is there because I believe that you have to be consistent. Sure. We are providing value, but the likes, the just the following, they come, they go. We know people attention span is this big. What would you say to that?
Well, it depends what type of content you're putting out. The only content that has the ability to get virality or to grow is video, right? Static images, text, it'll never go anywhere. It comes and goes, right? You're using text and images, you come out, you benefit by using the ephemeral components like stories, things like that, right? But when you think of virality and you want to grow an audience, you have to be doing video. So if you're not doing video, that's always the first problem we kind of cross correct. The second thing is the video has to be compelling enough that it triggers one of two things. It has to trigger either the emotion or agreed upon value. If it's not doing that, then you're just producing content. And content for content's sake just doesn't work. So yes, consistency is important, but there is a strategy behind what type of content is working because like I said, every platform works, but every platform has its culture as well. So just because you're putting content out on Instagram and it's video doesn't mean it's going to work on YouTube, right? And vice versa. So you really want to know the culture of the platforms, understand the relevancy in the sense of who you're talking to as an audience. And then you want to kind of focus on resonating with that audience. That can only happen when you know who your audience is or you develop an audience, right? So if your growth in the sense of followers, that's not a big thing. I wouldn't trip out on followers. What you guys are going to look for is engagement. It's not 10 followers that are engaged are better than 10,000 followers that never seen anything. Yeah. So.
So I see that one of your specialties that you do coaching.
Yes.
So you give us an example where, as you know, I think when people, there's so many coaches out here, right, that really know, let's be honest, is not as effective just because they got the name. Just because they got the title coach associated doesn't mean that they're the expert in your industry. Give us an example of you took Jane Doe, John Doe, and you've built something and it turned out to be, wow, we love their service. Like share some with us.
You touched an interesting point, or things that I take I give a lot of attention to. Because it's true, everyone is a coach, right? That doesn't mean anything, right? Just because you took the title or the mantle of a coach doesn't mean anything. It's when you really take on the mantle of coaching, the only people that can do that are practitioners, right? Just because you say I'm a coach means nothing, but if you've never done it, then you're just giving my opinion. And that's the problem when we're okay accepting when a person says, well, I can coach you. First, whoa, what have you done, right? And if you've done it, what are you doing now? You can't tell me something you did 10, 20 years ago, right? You have to be a practitioner for me to even digest it. So me personally, I have 3 coaches in my life, right? We invest, I have a budget up to about $15,000 a month. We invest in coaching personally for me. We have a business coach, I have a fitness coach, and I have a life coach, right? You always have to have somebody in your life that you can pull power from. If you don't have a coach, you need at least a mentor that you don't get familiar with. That's very important. If you're not pulling power from somebody, then you're not growing, right? And unfortunately, people shy away from real coaches because they're willing to call you out on your BS, right? It's their job.
Great point.
That's the whole point. If they're not going to call you out, and if they're not going to push you into a place of greatness, what is the point of the coach? Right? I don't need a friend. I don't need I don't need an ear to talk to, right?
That's right.
I need to progress. We have to always move in the place of progression. So when you guys think of coaching, sometimes people don't understand, if we can accept that everything that someone has done or doing has been learned. Everything,
Facts.
Right? As long as we don't view ourselves less intelligent than that person, we can learn it as well, right? But the problem with it is either we can accept the excuses, because I'll never challenge the excuse. A coach will never challenge your excuses. They'll accept that. They understand that, right? Because, if you broke, you broke. This is factual, right?
Exactly.
If you've been through trauma in your youth, it's factual, right? All excuses are absolutely real. But then we have to fall into a place, now what, right? That's the real question. Now what? So we can accept the emotion of the excuses, or we can focus on progress, but we can't have both. And that's what coaches help you do. It help you move in a place where you're being progressive. Now, if you choose to hold the emotion, it's your choice. Just remember, the longer you hold on to your emotion, the longer you rob your future self.
Well, it's interesting as you say that, because I had an accountability coach, right? And like I said, I'm a big fitness person as well. I think I've always compared it to going to the gym. It's like I want to get these sets and I want to get these reps, and you got that partner there to hold you accountable. It's tough while you're in the middle of it, but the objective is for the end result, right? Which they hold you accountable for, and that helped me tremendously. Hey guys, thank you for watching our show. We're going to interrupt you real quickly. We are in the business of referrals. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, residential or commercial, here in the North Carolina area, refer us. We really appreciate that. So let me speak to you. You got the coach. I mean, you are a coach. You've helped people go from here to there. And I take my hat up to you because you said you have 3 coaches. And each one of them areas in your life, I guess, did it bounce off of each one? In other words, by having 3 coaches?
No, they're just blind spots. These are places that I need help with, right? I mean, at one time, just take my fitness coach. I used to weigh like 120 at one time.
Okay.
Right? I was 120. I got tired of being skinny. So now I'm 175 under 12% body fat. You know what I mean? My fitness coach helped me get there, right? Correct. My business coach helped me get to a place where not only did I have these businesses and I had money coming in, he helped me understand cash flow is part of the process, but cash flow does not fall into wealth, right? Cash flow just feeds. When we think about wealth, we have to think about, how do I structure things that can outlive me? That's the game, right? If you build a business that die with you, that's just a well-paying job, right? When you think of cash flow, when you think of generational wealth, you guys have to think of things like legacy. Legacy has to be bigger than you, right? I can say Rockefeller, and you'd be like, well, the name ring a bell. I don't know what they did, but the name rings a bell. That's legacy. That's power right there, right? So when we get to a place of real generational wealth, we start to create things that will not die when we die.
I mean, profound, brother. I'm sitting here, like I said, just taking it all in here. Now, our community is real estate professionals. I see you have a clubhouse from that as well. Thank you for making me a part of that. What would you say to a first 2 month, 3 month, 6 month real estate professionals get into the business who are just iffy with social media or advertisement that can really take their business to another level? Like, what would you say to that person?
Well, one of the first things is they have to get comfortable with doing videos. It's not an option. It's not an option. And I don't care about, people, we can get into the tactical stuff later. The key is to get a person comfortable in front of this camera, putting themselves out there so they can start to build attention. Agents don't fail because of skills. It's not because they're unskilled or they don't know the business. They're failing because of obscurity, right? Nobody knows who you are. And video gives you that ability to build awareness, build attention, right? And then you can start, if you're paying attention to what the people are saying, you'll begin to hear what your audiences are asking for. I built my entire business from videos and open houses. Like I went from first year, very bad year. I think I sold to like 4 people in a midget. It was horrible, right? My second year, I started to deploy videos and techniques of open houses, right? Based off me putting myself out there, my second year, I went from 10 million in sales that year. My third year, I did 13 million in sales. Wow. My fourth year, I went part-time, built the team around me, and did 6 million in sales, right? But it was just that putting in the work and the consistency will make up the difference. We're so caught up in the perfection side of things, and perfectionism doesn't exist. So as a new agent, the mirage of being an agent is irrelevant, right? The very first thing a person has to know who you are is who you are. That's it. And the only way you can get that message out at a mass scale is going to be through video. Pick a channel and get very consistent with putting yourself out there through video.
I love that. So now, what about the dinosaur agents? I've always been doing it this way. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah, I can care less. I don't care about Zillow. I don't care about these older agents. If you're viewing competition, you're not working hard enough, right? If you're caught up with what the next man is doing, you're not putting enough work, right? If you're putting in the work, it doesn't even matter what anybody does, because you begin to develop your own lane and you begin to build up your own business. Like it got to the point where in my second year, near the end of my second year, I was closing about 3 or 4 deals a week, and that continued on for the next 2 years. Right? Oh. It got to a point, it was a joke with me and the guy that's a partner right now. We just had checks sitting on our desk. My wife would have to come, at the end of the week and pick up the checks so we can deposit. They would just be sitting on my desk, right? I was focused on putting in the work. I didn't care about, the money was coming in, and I knew it was coming in. I made sure I did an open house every week. I was closing 3-4 deals a week. It didn't stop me. Boots to the ground, putting in the work. And that's the thing that agents won't do. They won't put in the work, or we make these few dollars and we think that we made it. I remember when I had $80,000 in the bank and I thought I was rich. Gotcha, it's just the different. You see what I'm saying? So when you're putting in the work, that the money comes. That's a byproduct. And unfortunately, our industry has perpetuated this narrative that it's about how many units and how much money you're making. No. Let's think bigger. Let's build a business. Cash flow is part of the process. Cash flow is part of the process. I want everyone that comes in proximity to me know that before you get consumed in the cash flow side, the enticing part about cash flow is it can easily make you a technician. And when you become a technician too long, you challenge everybody that comes to help you, and nobody can do it better than you. So you never move out that place. So you can't progress from technician to management to systems. If you don't get to a place of systems, you will never have an effective business. That's why if COVID-19 comes, you're trapped again, right? If a new Zillow comes, you're trapped again. When you're building a business and you're moving to a place where you're systematically producing income and revenue for your business and for your family, that's the game. That's the whole, right? Cash flow is part of it. And unfortunately, like I said, our leaders have a way of feeding us the narrative of how many units did you sell? Okay, what's the price point of that house? Who cares? When I sold real estate, Mike, I didn't care if you were buying, selling, renting. All I cared about was closings. That's it. I could care less. I didn't. If you was ready to go, let's go. We figure out what we're getting later, right? People are like, oh, I'm only doing listings. I sold everything. I didn't care what you was. You wanted a shack. If you can afford it, I'm selling it to you.
That sounds like me back then.
Home, I could care less. I didn't care.
Correct.
Because I had a bigger vision of what I needed to produce. And that's one thing I would share with any new agent. First of all, don't pigeonhole yourself into these categories. Build a business. Cash flow is part of it.
Yes. No, I had an actually team meeting today, and we discussed the power of social media. Or like you just said, don't be afraid and get in front of that camera. Because I personally believe, in the day, people don't think. I mean, people don't care. Right? It's like, I think the biggest obstacle is in your brain. Right? So don't care as far as you.
My entire community I sold to, Mike, was 98% white women. Right? Black people ain't bought nothing from me.
Why is that? Let's talk. Why is that?
It's just value. When you provide value, the world no longer sees color or gender, right? That's not important anymore. And that's the problem, right? When you're providing value, everything else, it doesn't matter, right? And that's just how it was. I came into the game, decided that I wanted to dominate the Black community when I came from Harlem.
Okay.
When I came to Jersey, it was a different world for me, right?
Okay.
Not
I'm from Brooklyn, may I add. Yeah, that.
There we go. So you kind of see. So it's a different. I'm from a world of number culture, and I come down here, and it's boring. Right? It's boring, right? Correct. So I had to be myself, and me being myself and putting myself out there. Again, like I said, when you provide value, the world no longer sees color. But also when you're unapologetically yourself.
Correct.
Right? You're very comfortable in who you are as a person. Your market, the industry, the world will adapt. Begins to adjust to who you are. You don't have to change who you are, and that's the problem, right? Everybody trying to fit this mold. You're caught up into this mirage. I'm a realtor. I'm a real estate agent. That's a camouflage suit. That's not important. Who are you as a person? If I can see you, scripture says, out of the mouth speaketh the heart. I can hear you now.
Brother, I'm just taking in all these good dudes, and I agree with you on so many different levels. Like I said, I know your time is valuable, brother. I want to squeeze these last few things in here. Marketing, coaching, generational wealth. Right now, so you're no longer practicing real estate. You have other people practicing it for you, or you're the broker owner of the business.
We still have a team. I'm partial owner with a brokerage. Like I told you, I move in systems. So as long as they spell my name right on the check, I don't need to be there.
That's what it's all about. So what I'm gonna do, brother, like I said, I know that time is pushing. You ask every guest 2 golden nuggets, whether it be a scripture, a quote out of a book, recommend a book, a great movie, or anything that can speak to our audience. What does that look like to you?
Oh, scripture says a good man has enough wealth for his children's children. Just to be considered good, legacy is mandatory. So if you're building a business and you're thinking about entrepreneurship and you're not doing everything in your power to build legacy like video, you are not considered to be a good man.
Oh, brother, I mean, just powerful, brother. So I will say, you can follow this brother. He's a moderator on so many different clubhouses, but his particular one, actually, I just joined it. I want to make sure I'm getting this correctly, brother. It is the what was that title at? Providing the
ZillowKiller meetup.
ZillowKiller meetup, and it's another one as well, right? Is there? Do you have another?
No,
one?
that's it. That's where you
ZillowKiller meetup. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we got the I go in there Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. I hang out for about 2 hours, and we just talk, right? I try and give people paradigms, right? If we can shift the paradigms, then we can get into techniques and strategies later. Truthfully, you can Google it. You don't need me for it. But if you don't take the paradigm shift, it doesn't matter when people talk about techniques and what to do and Facebook this and that's easy. That's the easiest part. The real battleground is here in the mind, and that's the thing we try and challenge.
That's right, brother. That's why I mean you got to talk. Me, you definitely. I'm a firm believer that what Anthony Robbins says. He says 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. So it's like definitely everything is the mindset. And sometimes I'll be on some clubhouse rooms, and I mean some of the questions. I understand everybody's not on the same level, but like you said, go to Google or go to YouTube University.
I protect my ear gates. When it starts to get to the goofiness, I leave.
It was like, okay, now, come on now. But
I'm gone.
But yeah, brother, but I would say thank you. This is Mike Headley on the Headley Group Real Estate Show. We want to take our hat off to Mr. James Rembert. And like I said, follow him on all social media platforms. We're going to have all his information at the end of the video here.